Okay, I know I said a lot of laughter and fun and not taking life so seriously, but in the spirit of improvement and growth and finding happiness, many people may not be just very much aware of how this virus is going to affect us moving forward. And the best way for you to be ready for what's going to happen is to have an understanding of what the possibilities really are. So we took upon ourselves to chat with a socialist who will explain to us what are the effects that these may have on us on a short term and long term as we move forward, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and even economically. Because we find a lot of people who have lost their jobs, but hey, how do we rebuild from there? So let's have a quick chat and find out how to brace ourselves for the change that's coming and how to make it even better for us. She looks so gorgeous. She looks absolutely gorgeous, and she's a lady who made me appreciate the African headscarf wearing even more. Viola Llewelyn of Ovamba. Lovely, lovely, lovely to have you on today.
I see you here, I see you there, I see you everywhere.
Do you know why I got this on? Because I said to myself, I need to match her somehow. She always had a headscarf on, and let's try it.
We gotta have our crowns on when it's time to do business.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better than I was when all of this began. I have different sets of priorities now. So much has changed, and I'm appreciative for a lot.
Today, we're going to be talking about, the effect of this crisis on the economy, especially in Africa. Some countries are practicing like intense lockdown, while others are still very relaxed about how they're going about this. What if such a time when things open up, other countries which have not practiced like intense measures get to reinfect other countries?
We spend so much time being divided by race, gender, color, size, gender, political agenda, that we forget that we actually are capable of being stronger if we're together. Mm-hmm. If the whole world doesn't get on the same page as it relates to taking care of each other, this could go on for a lot longer. This opportunity has helped many of us reevaluate our priorities. I will be as transparent as I can, Pam, and tell you that as the co-founder of Ovamba, the focus was on building revenue, building profit, delivering results for investors, and making sure that our teams perform well so that we could have a high business valuation. That's not the priority anymore. Right now, if we don't take care of African businesses and African banks, nobody's going to come out the other end positioned to succeed.
Now, talking about this affecting different states and different countries in various ways, we've heard about how it has affected most of the Western cultured economies and not so much about Africa just yet. How do you think this is going to affect the African economies positively and of course negatively?
Yeah. This situation is going to affect Africans on a health basis. If we don't have a committed approach to taking care of people and address the poor infrastructure for health, this is going to be an issue. If we don't take care of our electrical grid issues and start to really endorse alternative energy, we're going to have an issue. Mm-hmm. If we don't find ways to educate people in areas that are not just traditional education, then when we come out the other end, we're not going to have as an educated workforce as we ought to have. But this is also an opportunity for us to start thinking about our own resources and manufacturing. So as far as I'm concerned, there are very good outlooks for Africa right now. But the fallout from this is going to be in the economic impact of people dying, the economic impact of people not being able to go to work, mm-hmm. the economic impact of families as women who are primary caretakers find themselves in closer and closer proximity with those who are ill and how they carry that around. Yeah. What about the informal sector where women are involved in service industries and all of those other things that put them at risk?
I spoke to a friend in Nigeria as well who informed me that they are suffering because people are hungry. Now, the hunger crisis is even worse than the corona crisis because of the lockdown. And a similar situation with Cameroon as well, simply because they depend very much on petty trade. Now, in economies like that, how do you think they're going to survive?
they're going to have to transition and change. Governments and policy are going to have to take very seriously that entire swaths of the economy and the population need support from central banks, from changes in policy, and making opportunity something that is democratically available. The democracy of opportunity is going to have to be revisited all over again.
How would you advise all these people to take care of themselves and to try to, limit the information? Because I'm very sure that Africans are reliant on the numbers saying that no, we are not as deeply affected by this.
I don't know how much of what you're saying and what others are saying is actually true. Let's take a look at what historically happens. Africa is continually undercounted. When we talk about the credit gap, it hovers around about $346 billion, but we know that it's a lot more than that. When we look at how people report on the census, which is not even followed up on properly, the numbers are wrong there as well. Until we have appropriate testing and we know what the R0 numbers are, until we understand and can map who was in touch with who when, until we can be absolutely sure that there isn't more than one strain of COVID-19 and that the similarity in symptoms can be accounted for, it's going to be very difficult to come up with numbers. But here's what is a problem that we can do, what we can take care of.
There's been talks, especially by Bill Gates, about a vaccine being put out next year. Recently, he put out the ID 2020, which is digital vaccination as well. So there's a bit of confusion as to exactly what that will stand for in terms of dehumanizing us, the human beings. With the African society, we're very connected to our culture and to a spiritual upbringing. How do you think this would affect the Christians and, the African spirituality in general?
I think that our collective cultural attitudes vary from place to place. We all know that Africa is not just one region, but stigma and where people get their information definitely informs how they deal with information, how they respond to information, what they choose to believe. I've recently begun to ask people, explain to me why you believe what you believe, or why don't you tell me why you think this is true? Because people will repeat what they hear, and it will go through a number of mutations, and at the end of it, you've got stories like 5G towers give you COVID-19.
There were some two French doctors who mentioned the vaccine should be tested or will be tested, should or will be tested in Africa. There was an uproar on social media. What are your thoughts?
The French need to stop all this nonsense. We are not your personal guinea pigs. This ain't your granddaddy's Africa. All of the things that you guys did over the last how many 100 years where you just thought that we're not human enough and you can get away with it. I could have sworn that we had reached a point where that needs to end. Let's take a look at what happened in the United States with the lax cells. We have one black woman whose cells showed a particular set of characteristics that they're still making medication from till today with no compensation that I am aware of, except that they did make a movie to say that, this thing happened. We are often used experimentally. It's true. These are things that I never thought I would say because I've often wanted to disregard these kinds of comments because they're very inconvenient to me personally and I don't like them. But I've had to grow up a lot in the last 5 to 10 years and I don't put it past anybody, especially the French, any further. I do not know why these same scientists don't go to their own little lovely Parisian French country where you've got all the controls, all the lab access, and all of the superior products and services that you can use to do your own medical testing. Why you got to come over here?
Thank you. I enjoyed the chat even more for myself than anybody else because I learned so much from you always. And thank you so much, Viola, for making time for this. I wish I could keep you on much longer, but hey, I have to go and find a way to be positive and creative with my new way of life.
I just want to give a special shout out to the Miss P Show. I want to give a huge shout out to Miss P.
I want to give a big shout out to the Miss P Show.
Shout out to the Miss P Show.
Soyez toujours connectés avec Miss P Show.
Keep watching the Miss P Show, your #1 platform.
A special big shout out to the Miss P Show.
Keep watching the Miss P Show.
The Miss P Show. Simply deep.
I hope I could bring out some laughter, hidden within you. I hope I could help you search within yourself to find some joy, some peace, and of course to prepare for what's coming on next, because the most devastating thing would be you waking up to a new life and to changes when you are absolutely not ready for that. Now the virus is here, that's something we cannot change. The effects, that's what we absolutely cannot change, but we can change how we deal with what's coming to us. So we brace ourselves and prepare for the journey, because life is an experience we all should enjoy to the fullest. Now, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at The Miss P Show. And until next time, stay sweet, stay cool, stay calm, stay happy, and stay in love. I'm Miss P and I'm Simply Deep. Ta-da!